festivals all over in my dreams. Hey man, I just got this accordion this morning at the flea market, and it was something that I didn't expect getting. It was one of those noble treasures in life. A noble treasure in life, man. I woke up, my daughters woke up, like, let's go to the flea market. I never in a million years thought, today, you're going to become the proud owner of an accordion. Never in a million years. You know what I mean? There's not one time in my life I woke up, thought, maybe today will be the day that I own an accordion. I mean, I got a whole studio of equipment here, right? Now what if, you know what I mean, Weird Al Yankovic shows up at my house? Got a drum kit, all kinds of guitars. I got a piano upstairs. I bet you Weird Al would want to play an accordion, right? And what if he didn't have his with him, man? Sorry, Weird Al, man. You know what I'm saying? Once you sit down here, man, you should play the drums. Hey, man, I don't play the drums, man. Why don't you sit over here, man? Play the Superman guitar. That's the Supergirl guitar, man. Hey, man, what you say? Hey, man, that ain't no Supergirl guitar, man. I'm offended. And anyway, I ain't gonna really mess with you, Weird Al. You're not the guy to mess with, right? I'm sorry. Anyway, point is, I'm gonna tell you a story that happened the day before today at the swap meet. Because I like to tell stories, you know what I mean? The accordion was today's adventure. An example of special treasures. Now, I'm gonna reenact yesterday's adventure. Just so you know what happened, right? Exterior, cold flea market. When I first got there, every time I get to the flea market, there's like a little table set out, right? And I wasn't even really feeling that well this morning. I was feeling like, you know what I mean, worse yesterday, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really want to go to the flea market. It was my duty as a guitar collector to go see what's to be seen, right? And yesterday I'm feeling all down like this, like, oh man, and like there's a table right there with all kinds of treats. And because I wasn't feeling that well, I happened to see that there were no, you know, tasty cake butterscotch crimpets there. And as somebody who grew up with a mother who like grew up in South Jersey, which is also known as East Philly, tasty cake butterscotch crimpets, part of my life. You know what I mean? Usually I get $1 box off this guy. He gets them out of the dumpster, something like that. He's like, yeah, my brother Phil, I mean, he's a little bit late today. You know what I mean? He's like, it was no big deal. He's like, why don't you swing around? Come on, buddy. Swing around at the end. Come on. I'm bumming today. You know what I'm saying? He'll be here. He'll be here. I was like, oh, man. I don't really want to crimpets, man. I'm feeling kind of sickly, man. But whatever. So I walked around the flea market. Nothing. Nothing to be had. Nothing to be seen at all, man. You know, I had no accordion dreams yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So I'm leaving. I'm trying to sneak out past this guy. But there's no sneaking past him by, you know what I mean? Because he's like right by the exit. Right by the entrance, too. That's why I always see him every day there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he said, hey, buddy, you'll be 3 minutes. Three little minutes. Yeah, I gotta, you know what I mean, go, man. I got a special thing to do. He said, what do you gotta do? I'll be right back in 3 little old minutes. So I went down the other aisle like this, man. Like, man, I thought we were friends, man. Me and the dumpster dive, man. And then I saw at the table something that I hadn't seen the whole day. It was an Explorer Husk. Husk? Looks like a kit. Now remember this guy, man? This is one of our early episodes. We're getting near episode 200 now, man. So this is a kit that I made. Look at the back of it. The only thing that's really wrong with it, it doesn't have the correct neck joint for a Gibson Explorer. This guy, though, is perfect, man. That's what way it should look. But it's got a messed up headstock. Looks like the guy tried to turn it into a bass and tried to turn it back into a guitar and messed up the headstock. I don't know, maybe it was some other brand Explorer and he just tried putting like a Gibson headstock. It didn't work. Tried to make it no bass. Something went wrong that made this guy take everything off, including the fretboard, all the electronics, everything. You know what I mean? And leave it on a swap meet table early in the morning when there was a shortage of butterscotch crimpets, right? For $1 anyway. So I was excited by it, and the guy was like, about $30 on that, buddy. And I was like, I could tell he had some kind of sentimental connection to it. Maybe he built it himself. Maybe he played it himself. I think I bought guitars off this guy before. And I was like, you know what? I'm just waiting on crimpets, dude. $20. And he's like, you give it a good home? I saw like a little tear well in his eye. I was like, give it a good home? Would I? On the Guitkit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, all right, buddy, $20 it is. It's like, yeah. You got yourself a nice Explorer, man. It's an Explorer. I was like, yeah. And I saw walk around the flea market like, you know what I'm saying? Like Elmore James, man. I was, you know what I'm saying? Meadowlark Lemon, man. It was a great day. And I walked back. He's like, I'm going to give you 2 boxes of butterscotch crisps for $1 because you were patient, buddy. And I seen one of them had a little bit of water damage on it. I was like, no, one's good, man. One's good, man. So I'm going to flip you around. We're going to look at this together. And we're going to try to restore it kind of like we did with our original one here. Show you this beautiful instrument. But we're going to keep the pick guard, this black pick guard on it, because I kind of want to, like a 58 with a black pick guard. And it's kind of a weird pick guard, like homemade, looking real thick. Looks like it's been painted. I kind of like it. That's the only thing I really like about it. The rest we're going to kind of make it look like a dirty old, you know what I mean, 58, man. Discovery, man. Discovery, man. So we're going to take this lightly together. We're going to have a good time together. Get back to our Guitkitting roots. We'll take somebody's old Guitkit, a sad Guitkit, and make it better. So I'm flipping you around right now. It's not going to hurt. I'm not hurting time. 1, 2. Oh, now we can watch Ed Sullivan while we eat. So here it is, man. Not sure exactly where it came from or what the origins were. Some cheesy hardware. I mean, amongst the survivors. But this is interesting. This is like an American sized. You know what I mean? The small hole tune-o-matic deal. This is oddball. Oddball stuff. Look at this. Little shims in there. The channel for the truss rod is in good condition. Doesn't seem to have any weird things. 3-piece graft onto this headstock. These were drilled later, you can tell, because they're different sizes than these. Strange going-ons on this guy. Lots of strange going-ons. Not sure exactly, you know what I'm saying, what we're going to find when we take off the pick guard. And if, you know, I mean, once we get this thing all set up, I mean, it might pay like shit. We might be wasting all of our money investing in this guy. But we're not going to invest that much money in it. So, you know what I'm saying? This world's about losses and wins. This one might be a win yet. Right? I'm going to make the guy at the flea market proud of me. So let's get ready to put on our rubber gloves and go into the laboratory. I'll see you right there. We'll look inside this old gal. See that? It doesn't have that little notch. It's like the 50s cut. That's why I like it, man. That's why I like it. Been painted though, you can tell. Weird going on, man. See in a circuit. Over there, yeah, circus, Frank. What? For the 199th time, welcome back to the level 2. So listen to me, man. I was thinking of even making this the 200th episode because it's going to be such a, you know what I mean, strenuous activity, man. We're going to try to make this look like a 58 Gibson, you know, Explorer by spending like, I don't know, out of pocket, $50, you know. And I'm using all kinds of points on my credit card because on AliExpress you can use those. And I got like $140 worth. You know what I'm saying? A punch, man. So I'm going to get all the parts off of AliExpress, man. And I'm trying my best not to spend anything, you know what I mean? Let's see if I can make this a beautiful, I'm saying for $125 total. See what we can do, man. Already have $20 in. So we're going to pause right here, and then we're going to see you back at the slab as soon as we get all the parts in, and I'll give you the analyst, man. I'll show you all the parts. That's something I used to do back in the day. A special 199th anniversary extravaganza moment, man. We'll look at all the parts together, and I'll tell you what I spent and where. Right? This is kind of exciting, too. 199th Saga. Parts extravaganza. All the parts are in. You know what I'm saying? Everything we need to make this Husk great again is laid out on this little air hockey table, man. Can you feel it? Can you feel the magic? Now, 2 piles. This side right here is all paid for in credit card points, folks. 0 pennies out of pocket, man. This is all, points that we've accrued. We got a whole bunch of points just because put everything on the credit card, man. You get all the points. This is $81.50 worth of points. You know what I'm saying? Again, nothing out of pocket, but I mean, it is points, so it is kind of like, could have changed it into cash. Anyway, this side right here, we had to pay for out of pocket cash money. This is $25.63 worth of stuff, starting at the fretboard, right? Two different distinct piles, in case you want to, recount this to your friends, right? And if you count the corpse, the husk of the instrument, that was $20 out the pocket. Also, that's $45.63 total cash money out of pocket. So a grand total of $127.13, but again, about $45.63 real money out of the pocket, right? So that's, also including one donation right here in front of us, man. This was totally free out the pocket, man. Free, no money down, nothing. I ordered these on Home Depot. This is a rare sort of size, number 3, round head. Brass, Phillips, and nice. Ooh. Home Depot has like a great amount of stuff that's not in the store online. A lot of it delivers free. So, it never came. So I went to the chat bot on the website. I was like, what the fuck, man, It's been 3 weeks. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? This is like what was really holding up. I only need 2 of these to go in this guy right here. I probably have something in the drawer I can find or improvise somewhere. But I really wanted them because it was such a good deal. And it said there's like 127 available or whatever on the website. You know what I'm saying? And I eventually, kept talking to the robot for a while. Then a human came on, and I gave the order number again. And it took like 25 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes, rolling around asking about this. He's like, these are out of stock. I got to cancel the order. I was like, what? You can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? I have to cancel the order, sir. He's like, ah. May I have your permission to cancel the order? I was like, no, let me talk to the supervisor. You know what I'm saying? I was mad about this shit. But eventually, after wrangling with this guy, he decided to cancel my order, And the next day, I was so depressed about it because it's such a good deal and it's such a rare screw, and I love collecting screws, And I just went back on the website and I saw there was still the same amount in stock. I was like, I'm thinking about ordering it again. Like the next day, I came home from work and I saw my mailbox. There it was. And I checked my PayPal. It was still refunded, too. I was like, ooh. I was like, ooh, there it is. I got not only 1 pack, but I got 3 packs. The donation. So the rest of the goods, man, this is AliExpress, right? Looking good, right? This is a set of frets, which were made exactly for an Explorer, right? To fret that guy up. This is a stop bar. I already talked about him, right? We got this whipping rod, right? For trussing ourselves. Nice brass pointers. We got a Nash gold Audi. You know what I'm saying? A Chipson plate. A set of humbuckers. You know what I'm saying? Good enough. Supposedly out of an equal. We don't even need it. See how we get crew screws, man. We don't even need no screws. These look really nice. Gibson's using these on a lot of their instruments now. These like dark, you know what I mean? I never liked them, in the past, but these are real nice from AliExpress, man. They didn't cost hardly anything. They're really embossed and everything. A lot of them are just like painted in there, man. These are like really good, and they got the flat top 3. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful, man. I'm coming around to the dark knobs, man. We're going to make this into a set of, you know what I'm saying? A real boy, mama. We have the inlines with these Clusen butterbean things, and we got a set of these from old guitar family, right? These are supposedly made in Korea and sold on AliExpress, but I don't know, man. And if you can see through here, man, you can actually now on AliExpress get. I turn the flash off because I want you to see the embryo of the caterpillar inside, man. See the caterpillar inside, man? You can actually get like the correct color. See how it's like a ivory color as opposed to green. You always get these off AliExpress for many years, but they're always like fucking green, man. Fuck, man. You know what I'm saying? This Music Lily, I mean, they get the award for the biggest package. You know what I'm saying? Other than Sweetwater. You know what I'm saying? The biggest package for the smallest product. Some wheels that we need. Huh? So that's the 180. That's a 8150, right? And now we got this. You know what I'm saying? This is what's that called? Pal Faro. Whatevs, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a little light for my taste, but it's, you know what I'm saying? This is a guy that I used to deal with many years ago. I purchased a bunch of necks from him. And like then he made me a neck. Like he was like the guy that was running one of the factories for like the major early Chinese factories for Squire. And he had a lot of like with the Fender equipment, he's making all kinds of cool Fender necks, you know what I'm saying? And one of them was just really bad. I think it was actually a Kramer neck that he made me, and the fucking screw hole, the whatchamacallit, the holes for the tuner buttons were all like one of them was out of whack. I said, hey man, you can re-drill this, bro. You know, and I was disappointed. And we got an argument about it. He wouldn't sell me anything for a long time. And then I finally got him to sell me stuff again. I guess he forgot after 10 years. He had me blocked on every application. Oh, I don't want to work with Bobby G ever again, right? Sweetwater, you know what I mean? $5, free delivery. I think I talked bad about Sweetwater, you know what I mean, in the past. I might have to talk bad about it in the future. Remember, like, I bought these off them all the time, and then they started calling me. I'll be in the bathroom, they'd be calling, I'm right outside your window. I got some candy for you, you know what I'm saying? Like, about everything. What kind of instrument are you playing right now? You know, they send you a little box, you know what I mean, candy inside of it, picks, or some kind of stickers and shit. It used to be like a phony note in there from this guy who was like supposedly was the founder. I don't see his name on the package anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like he my-pillowed himself out of fucking favor with the world. He's on the yacht with fucking Papa John. You know what I'm saying? This I got from Mojo Tone, $4. They call it a cash sale, free shipping. You know what I'm saying? That's good for you, Mojo Tone. And that was one of the greatest deals of steals of all time. Only need fucking 18, man. I got 20, so I got 2 extras to stick on my nose. And I got some brass screws from my mom and pop hardware store. It cost me a grand total, princely sum of $2 total for all that. So I told you about the parts, man. Let's get back into the level of the fucking story for the 199th time. Just the 199th mental nervous breakdown with a big old package. Alright, so here we are back in the laboratory. We know we got the parts to make ourselves into a great instrument again. But we have some things to take care of. Namely, let's try to get this pick guard off. I'm thinking this might be a difficult task. Looks like some of these screws are slightly stripped. And one of them has actually been replaced by a tack altogether. So, I mean, that's always fun, trying to get an tack out. You know what I mean? Tack out, tack in. It's like a little fucking folk instrument now. You know what I'm saying? Goodbye to our folk ways. Let's try to get this off without damaging it. See you one. Alright. So after many different screwdrivers, pry bars, and chisels, and wedges, and things like that, we're able to get all these screws out, right? See the gilding on that one still? The gold gilding. Without any significant damage to either the pick guard or to the instrument, we're able to remove the whole thing, man. It's actually got a pretty nice looking brass switch on there, man. I like what I see, right? So there's no surprise so far, except for this, man. Hey, man, don't touch it, man. Huh? So now we got to remove these. Hopefully we can get them out, all of them together. Get what we can out. Don't want to overstep our boundaries, right? And this is just basically, you take this whole thing out and you put a little, like a little screw, a little machine screw in there, and then you put this guy down again, and it'll push the assembly out, man. And these, likewise, a real tiny screw. Just take, I guess that looks like it's a metric. Symmetrical, man. Let's get it out. You see that? I started a little cup of all our parts, man. I'm gonna lose my part, man. My parcel. Let's get this guy off too, man. You know what I'm saying? I want all this shit off, man. Remove it. Remove. And there it is, folks. There it be. It's ready to bring it out into the garage and strip it out. First, let's get all this little scums out. There's little pockets of, like, you know what I mean? Spidey and his friends, man. Let's get it all out and then bring it out to the garage. Start covering it with paint stripper. I'll see you at that parent. That's an excellent parent. Alright. So I seriously considered just sanding this guy down. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of cold out. I don't like being out of the garage in the cold. You know what I'm saying? Who does? Got the stripper ready to go. Always want to use the stripper out of a metal can. Shitty old paintbrush. You know what I'm saying? Haven't used this in quite a while. But we have a couple projects coming up where we're going to need it. So, you got to get used to it at some point. So, let's do the sides and the back of the neck. All the heavy lifting right now. And after that, I'll show you what it looks like. So I waited a good 10 minutes. Usually by this time, everything's all bubbling up and shit. Doesn't look like it's too much reaction, you know what I'm saying? It looks like it's status quo still. And I put it on kind of thick, right? So let's take one of these scrapers. This is a Dollar Tree find. $1.25 tree, right? Always use these guys. I'm using the paint remover and a couple pairs of Burger King grade, you know, plastic gloves. And let's see what we can get off this fucking thing. We might have to put a couple coats on it, man. Or we might just put one coat on and realize that maybe we should just sandpaper this motherfucker, right? See you in a moment. Alright, so we got most of it off. Right? It's getting cold out, so let's flip it around and do the front of it. You see how on the flat surfaces it got a lot of it off, but on the sides, by the neck, it's kind of a little bit more difficult. So let's just worry about getting the flat surfaces done. Right? I'll see you at that perch, my friends. Alright. That's what it kind of looks like. It has the deception of not doing anything. But it actually does something. So let's scrape it off with our friend Mr. Scraper, right? He's all soiled now, right? Looks like our Burger King gloves are still okay. See you in a moment. Alright, so it mostly came off, right? I mean, it's not that great of a job, but did a little bit of work, right? We have some paint thinner here. You're gonna want to get mineral spirits paint thinner with that type of stripper. Got a scouring pad. Let's try to scour a little bit more off of this. We're disposing everything into one of these corrugated Amazon mailer packages. So just throw all the soiled stuff away right in there. Nothing worth saving, right? I'll see you after this has been sort of cleaned off, and then we'll leave it out here the night, right? I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so we got it hang up in the garage on a screw. We did the little plastic scrubber with the paint thinner and evened it out. And now that it's drying, you can see that it didn't really do too much, you know what I mean? Superficially, sort of. You know what I'm saying? It kind of looks the same. But I think it took a lot off. That would have been like, if not, you know what I mean? Exercise and futility, we love them. All right, so let's let this set overnight. Dry out. Keep the window open, right? Okay, so we've been here in the garage for 3 days. And you can see it looks a lot different than it did when we put all those, you know, mineral spirits all over. Now, the mineral spirits will basically deactivate the paint stripper. The mineral spirits themselves become, you know, deactivated when it doesn't smell too much like mineral spirits. This still kind of smells like mineral spirits a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely ready to be sort of sanded off. So let's bring this down to the basement. Sit down with it in our sandy chair for a good morning. Get all this shit off of it, right? That stain, obviously, you know what I'm saying, is here to stay for the most part. You know what I'm saying? That was a deep stain, man. So remember, Well, that's as far as I'm gonna go sanding, man. I spent like 10 years of my life on this shit all morning, man. All morning long. This was a deep penetrating mahogany stain from, I guess, the 1970s, man. And it just was not, you know what I mean, sanding out. It was so deep in. Just so deep in, man. I got all the varnish off, you know what I'm saying? But the stain, I just kept chasing it. Some of it went really, really deep. You know, that happens, especially around the heel here. You know what I mean? It just happens right here. You know what I'm saying? And this is a graft. This is a different piece of wood. And unfortunately, this kind of like goes down this way. It's like sanded off the top here. It's all misshapen, man. It's kind of bothers me. It bothers me something fierce. So, what I'm going to do, man, I'm just going to try my best to do my best. Because there's all kinds of fucked up situations going on here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to, you know what I mean, plug these fucking holes, man. I got some dowels that are roughly, you know what I mean, roughly the correct sizes. This one's a little bit bigger, this one's a little bit smaller, but each one sort of fits in here kind of snugly. So we're going to put some tape in the back here, some old masking tape. We're going to coat these guys, you know what I'm saying, with a nice thick, you know what I mean, wood glue. And we're just going to cut it off on the scroll saw at the correct level, more or less. And then we'll just let it dry, and then we'll, you know what I mean, get to work on it. So I'll see when it's been plugged. Or somebody might say plugged. Alright, so it's all plugged up. We got tape on the back. So we pushed them down right to the bottom, and we cut them off the scroll. So like I said, we're going to do, let's wait for these to dry out totally. I'll see if that burnt. Alright, so it's the next day. We're going to take this tape off and just sort of sand these down as flat as we can to the surface. I'll see you at that point. We also took the liberty of plugging these while we're doing that whole little, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of toothpick action on this side. So I'll see if this has been flattened down to grade. Alright, so it's nice and down to grade. We still got a lot of work to do on this headstock, but let's just hold off because we want to get the truss rod in place and get it capped off. You know what I'm saying? That way we can sort of know what we're doing with the headstock and where everything goes, right? So let's go over to our friend Mr. Scroll Saw and start getting work on that fretboard, right? 1 and 2. Alright, so let's talk about this fretboard, man. This is the part I dread most about any kind of guitar that we're doing kind of from scratch. In a way that I just hate doing the, you know what I mean, holes on the fretboard. But we've done what we can. We have a 1/4-inch brad bit in the press, and we've done a trial run. And we found the right, you know what I mean? That's exactly right. It's flat, so we've taped it off at that place. Right? I mean, if you have good equipment, I mean, you don't have to worry about this kind of thing. But if you're doing the amateur thing, this is stuff you have to worry about. So what I've done is I've printed out one of these plans, you know what I mean, to actual factual scale. And I'm cutting out the little frets, fret by fret. And I'm just going to hold it on here. Perfectly where it's supposed to be, right in the center of that hole. I'm going to put a little pilot hole with a thumbtack, and then I'm going to line that up perfectly with this, you know what I'm saying, center of that. Just do what we can. Now, with this is incorrect. Gibson always puts, and I hate that. I hate that. Little details like that. Gibson puts their frets like that. So I actually found a good picture on Gibson's website of the Explorer. I reversed the, you know what I mean, went from negative to positive kind of a thing, and made it into, you know what I mean, an easier thing to do. So that's what we'll use for that particular fret, man. I'm always a little bit crafty, man. So wish me luck. I'll see you at the other side, right? Or side of the other see you. Well, it came out as good as we could possibly expect it to, you know what I'm saying? Not bad. So now it's time to trim off these extra frets. We got to trim it off here. And we got to trim it off right here, right? The best way I'm thinking of, this little hacksaw. Little hacksaw. See you at that point. Careful, careful, careful. All right, so we got it all trimmed down. Trimmed down to the right size, right amount of frets, 22 frets. Not bad, it looks great actually. So now let's sort of put a little radius on it. I mean, a lot of people have radius gauges, you know. I sort of just feel it, you know, I feel it out. Nothing extraordinary. Feels like it's got absolutely no radius on it. Yeah, so it's totally flat. So let's put a little tiny bit of a radius on it. That means a little bit of a curvature, right? Just a tiny bit. We're just going to sand it. Concentrate on the edges. See you in a moment. All right, so we got a nice radius. We cleaned off the sides. There's all kinds of like shit on it. I don't know what the fuck that was. But we got it going good. A good thing's going for us. So I got our custom jumbo frets all aligned at them. It doesn't get any easier than that. They're pre-radiused. Already checked it out. Looks like our radius is perfect for that, which is a wonderful thing. So I got a bunch of little tack hammers. This is the one I prefer to use. Just use a little rag and just tap it in. You know what I mean? You don't want to tap directly on the fret, so you don't want to mark it all up. Let's see when we're all fretted out. Ready? It's like a perfect fret job. Now, if you've done a fret job before, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. You know what I mean? Once you start it, you're like, oh, I'm not too sure I can do this, baby. By the time you get to here, you're like, yeah, I can do this. And by the time you're up here, you're like, take it like that. I'm in charge, you know what I'm saying? So it looks good. All the frets are pretty much nice and easy. There's a couple of scuffs from banging around the clowns a little bit. And we will do a perfect fret job on this just to make sure that everything's even and nice in a little bit. But first, I want to glue in all these little fret markers. Just because we have like the bucket of water out, you know what I'm saying? We're ready to go. We glued some of these frets and we just do the bead of glue, put the thing in, bang, 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 bang. These two different hammers, really. Right? That's the way it worked. Now we're just going to glue them in. We're going to use the same old wood glue. A lot of people say, oh, I want to use super glue on this because I want it to be super. We use epoxy on it. It's got to be epoxed, man. This is a little less permanent. In case you fuck something up with crazy glue, then you're like, oh, no. You know what I mean? Oh, I got crazy glue all over my new fucking rosewood fretboard. Oh, no. You know? I see when we all dot it out, Charles. Do, 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 do. Look at that. And they're all beautifully flush. See that? It's like the Ray Charles test, man. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So, like I said, we are going to do a nice fret job on it, but we want to do it on the actual instrument because it says like a little bow in the middle from all the stuff that's in there. And you know what I mean? Doing a fret job on it right now, probably not the right idea. So, let's glue it to the instrument. Let's get the truss rod ready. Right? I'll bring you over back to our instrumental. And there it is, man. Right next to the truss rod, which we have to, get all seated right now. Now, this truss rod is a double axle truss rod. Got a flat top right here, right? Now that flat top has to be facing up. See how this sort of swims around in here? And it's got to be right against the back of the fretboard. So we have all these little pieces of scrap wood, you know what I mean? And we're sitting around gathering dust. We're going to want to glue them in here with that in place and this down here. Now, we can get glue on the truss rod. A lot of people say don't get glue or epoxy on the truss rod. Well, you can actually do it. It's no big deal. But we want to get it as snug as a bug in a rug as we possibly can by gluing little pieces of wood into this channel so it could just sit in there like a bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, sit there and relax, right? So, I'll see you when we got a little nuzzled up. And I'll be back to you at that point. Alright, so we got it where it needs to be. It's standing up straight. We haven't glued any pieces in, and I don't think we're going to have to. We got a little back stopper here to glue in right here at the end. So what we have to do now is we have to actually screw in this pickup because the fretboard extends to the beginning of the pickup, and that's what we know is what. In order to do that, we're just going to have to replace these screws. These screws are way too long, and they won't let it sit flat in the instrument. So let's flip those screws out. I have these, a whole drawer full of these. These are, you know what I mean, to attach the pickup to the instrument. So once we get the pickup in place, we're going to set the, fretboard over top of it. And we're going to glue this little guy in and just take a look at it real quick. And then I'll clamp it down. We'll continue from there. Alright, so we got the assembly in place. We're going to have to re-drill these screws here because it looks like there's some kind of like maybe a bass pickup in there. This is obviously a bass. But everything else looks like it's going to be copacetic, man. Looks like we're rocking and rolling. We're fucking Ryan Nolan, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything looks like we're on the up and up. It looks like we're going to be able to fit our instrument together. So, let's put this beautiful fretboard on there, man. We spent all that time working on it. We want to go all the way down to with this right here. Now, usually they say run a piece of tape here and then glue it, then take the tape off. Well, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Little glue's not going to hurt in it. We got this little, you know what I mean, back strap here. You know what I'm saying? It's right where it should be. We're rocking and rolling, man. Flat side up, right? Flat side against the wall, right? So let's get this guy clamped on, man. It's been way too long, man. Way too long. Right? So let's let this set for just a quiet minute more than a spell. I'll see you at that burnt. Alright, so this guy's been chilling for about 2-3 days. It's got a lot to do, man. A lot on our plate. Let's get it unclamped. Take that hardware off, right? Don't need your hardware right now, son. So we're all unclamped, man. I put a little bit of mineral oil on this guy because there was like it'd been on there for 2 or 3 days. This like rubber clamp, and the oil from the rubber started leaching in there, and there's a big circle. I was like, what? And I realized it's just, this rosewood is like really, you know what I mean, dying for some oil, man. But it looks like it's be nice and dark, so it makes me happy. Look at the sides, man. See that? Perfect join, man. Perfect join. Smooth as a fucking. We had to do a little sanding as soon as we, you know what I mean, took off just a quick sandpaper run down there. But man, it sounded like a rock. Nice. So, you know, we're going to have to do a little bit of like a Bondo land thing. There's some deficits right in here. On the back side. There's some funky stuff going on down the city here. Some stuff going on over here. You know what I'm saying? On the back of the neck. There's a couple nicks on the neck, man. And of course over here, I mean, we got a lot of like unknowns, man. Complete unknowns, man. Whoa. Oh. So let's go do the Bondo route on the out of doors, man. You know what I'm saying? Bondo route on the out of doors. We might want to just plug these guys too while we're at it, because I think we're going to be going into different places, man. That's not the right place. Take it out right now. Right? Right. There's a deficit right there, man. Rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. See you in a minute. So here we are outside. Beautiful winter cold sunlight, right? First of several Bondo sessions for this old beast. You know what I'm saying? We got all this stuff laid out before us. You know what I'm saying? It's different doing Bondo in the cold temperatures than it is in the summertime. You know what I mean? It's a lot more working time, but you know, it gets all over the place, and you know, you got to be really, really careful. So I'll see you after we've Bondoed it up, man. A bunch of bondage. Extremely successful Bondo session, man. 30 degrees outside. Bondo was supple for many, many minutes. It still is supple. You know what I'm saying? It's still like, you spread that. But Burger King gray gloves were not penetrated in any way, shape, or form. We got all the little nooks and crannies, man. Built a new end down there. Worked on the one back there. Got every single screw hole. Plugged in all these things on both sides, front and back. Kept everything off the fretboard. You know what I'm saying? Success is ours, folks. A little bit of a mess too. We put this in a bag and put it in the garbage can and just leave it there. We might have to do a lot more bondoing, you know what I'm saying? And we just dump it all in the same bag. Let's let it dry out here in the very cold sun. And bring it in the garage and let it dry a little bit while longer till it don't stank no more. And that's what we're looking for, no stank. And after that, Pert, we'll see you down in the basement. See you then. So here we are back in the laboratory. It's been exactly a week. Hey, Guitkit, man, why'd you wait a week? Well, look, I've done like almost 200 episodes of this particular genre. You know what I mean? I've probably bondoed, you know what I mean, at least 100 guitars. And I think maybe probably photographed myself doing 75 at least on this program. And I know about Bondo. It says like after the first day you can sand it off and you're ready to go. But it's never really totally hardened for like a week or so. I always like sand it and I paint it and stuff. And I prime it. And I see it like sinks in after like a week. Like, what, motherfucker? So, you know what I mean? As long as you can wait it, you know. So, if I could wait a weekend in Westchester with my cousin William Warren, it'd be wonderful. So, I have a little sanding block here that I've actually used. It's like a sanding belt, 3-inch belt piece. And these are real durable. I just, stapled it to this big hard piece of weather pressed wood, right? And what we're going to do here is we're going to sand this thing down at grade, man. We're using that, and then we're going to use like softer blocks, and we're just going to get this guy wonderful like William and Horn in Westchester from Wednesday to whenever, right? So I'll see you at that point. And after that, we'll discuss what comes up next. All right. Well. Now I'm feeling well. Nice and smooth, right? Nice and smooth. Got rid of like 97% of all the body problems, so now when we refinish it, we're not going to see all kinds of little lumps and bruises, man. Looking a lot better. A couple things we got to, smooth out on the neck, but we have a couple more Bondo and sessions to go, so no biggie on that. So before we do any more, weird, wonderful work, I got to fix some things up. I have a piece of wood here, and I'm going to just glue that wood here because we're missing a large piece of beak on this one side of the guitar because the tuners get cut in here pretty close. So I want to add a little piece of wood, like right there where to wood glue it and clamp it. And also there's another little issue that I want to take care of simultaneously. Right here is where we attach the pick guard at the top here, and sometimes if that's not attached correctly, it'll start to sag around, and that had happened on this instrument. So what we want to do is we're going to want to take a piece of a toothpick, because we tried to do it with Bondo, it just didn't work out. We're going to glue him in there and cut him off. Then we're going to take this piece of weird, wonderful wood, and we're going to clamp to the side of the instrument right there and cut it off right there, exactly at the bottom there, right where we meet the wood of the instrument, right? Clamp him in as well. So I'll see when they're both clamped and sit. It's going to help us in the long run, friends. So I'll see you in 1, 2, 3. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. No way you can play, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Let's let this dry, man. Dun 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 dun. Alright, so it looks like it's nice and dry. We're going to leave it clamped for a little while longer because I've been kind of working on this. Put a little bit more wood on there. See how I put some more wood on there. And I actually have printed out a whole bunch of these, you know what I'm saying? Copies of life-size versions of the headstock. I'm just doing some experiments, and I've been holding it up to it and doing all kinds of measurements. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add this piece of wood right here. Put it right on this little area, and I'll take this little tiny little shim and stick it right here where I'm missing a little bit of wood. See there? You know what I'm saying? Let's see when we're all, you know what I'm saying? We're going to leave this all, you know what I mean, for now. See you in a minute. Shan't we let it sit a spell? Shan't we? We shan't. Alright, so this guy's pretty much dried out. Let's take this thing right here and cut it out real carefully. Right? Let's see if that burnt. There it is, man. I got it cut out perfectly. Took the rubber bands off of this. Took the sander block to this and sort of tapered it down perfectly. What we're going to do is we're going to take this old fella here, line him up. This is almost about perfect. That's right. And then we're going to take this crayon, and then we're just going to trace where this truss rod sort of opening actually, you know what I mean, comes out, so we can sort of proceed with the proceedings, right? So I'll see you after that's been done, right? Just going to hold it against that and like trace what's there. See you in a minute. Now we use the crayon to sort of get that exact opening traced out, right? exactly where it should be. Where it could be, man. So we have some double-sided Scotch tape. We're going to run a couple big pieces around the edges of this bad boy. We're going to attach it to this old piece of cherry wood. This elderly piece of cherry wood, man. It's in a mermaid. So I stuck it down. I cut it roughly. Let's take these nice sharp scissors and cut it a little bit better. Right? Right. Alright, so we got it cut out nice and nice. Nice and nice. I'm going to take this X-Acto nif. Try to get that out X-Acto. Right? Exactamonious. Alright, so we got the hole holier than thou. And we know exactly where it goes. The hole where he goes, man. Where he goes. Let's see, we can see the truss rod right there. The old trusty truss rod. So what we're going to do, we're going to wedge a little piece of wood. A little bit of wood in there, William. Protect the rod, man. So let's cut this guy off at the right place. You know what I'm saying? We'll stick him in there. He's nice and flat. And there it is. Piece is perfect. We take this old bird, you know what I'm saying? We fit it carefully where he has to go. We have plenty of space to, you know, screw ourselves in, man. We're gonna get screwed up, man. So let's take some glue and we'll use some blocks and wax paper in this area. Glue this guy down. Glue him nice and flat. I'll see after it's been clamped. 1, 2, 3. Alright, it's like overkill. The shit started like curling up, man. I was like, what? So, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Right? Let's give it a night. Alright, so it's the next day. Let's get all these crazy clamps off and see what happens. Right? Let's check out our progress there, Stephen. Alright, so we got all the clamps off. Now, there's a really, like, pronounced ridge, like, going through it, like, right here. I don't know what the hell happened. There was a lot of problems trying to get it flat on there. Obviously, you saw the million clamps. Just problems. It just started curling up like balls, dump spine. It was all messed up, man. But believe it or not, this thing is definitely salvageable. All we got to do is sand it down, but we have to remove this paper thing from the top. The whole idea of the paper thing is, though, to mark where the tuners have to be drilled out, because that's, I mean, mathematical skill and precision, right? That's kind of hard to eyeball. So I got the old dream aisle right here. So we're going to basically just score these holes right at the X's. You know what I'm saying? With the little pre-drill pilot. You know what I'm saying? Oh, ho, ho, it's magic. Little pilot holes. Each one of these, we got a nice, you know what I mean, meaty sort of drill bit in there, man. I had to actually change the collar on the fucking Dremel, man. That was a pain in the ass, man. Let's do that precisely, and I'll see you at that print. So for better or for worse, we have all the pilot holes drilled. Let's peel off this paper and see what happened over here, man. I want to know. Alright, so I mean, it's not really that bad. I mean, there's a big ridge. You can see it going right down here. Let's just take our super sanding block and get it all smooth for Sammy. Sammy likes it smooth, sonny. Alright, so I sanded and I sanded and I sanded, and finally the mounds became just like big piles of glue that had nowhere to go. It was just like sort of drying. And that was about 7-8 hours ago. It looks almost dry now. Looks good. You know what I mean? We're just going to hit it up with some Bondo. And Bondo session 2, right? Work on the back there, man. Work on the neck a little bit. Solidify the horn a little bit. We're working a little bit by little bit, man. So I'll see you outside. We're going to let this dry another, you know what I mean, I guess day in here. And I'll see you outside in the Bondo land in about a day. Right? 24 hours. 2, 4. Right? 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. So here we are. We're outside. It's as cold as a witch's dick out here, man. It's freezing. We're going to do this front here in the old Bondo solution, man. We're going to get this guy all straightened out. He's all fucking warded out, man. This is all fucking lopsided still, you know what I'm saying? Still some shit going on. Oh man, it's fucking freezing out here. See you when we're done. Almost fucking died of frostbite out here, man. Did a little bit of the neck. Did the front. Gave some shape to the side there. Fixed up that little tip. Right? Started to get freezing out here. Let's give it another 10 minutes out here. 20 minutes, and then put it into the garage for the night. Then bring it down to the basement when it stops to stink. Alright, so it's been about 4 days. That was like Monday, late Monday afternoon is when I Bondo it. And it's now like same time Friday afternoon, so that's the amount of time. Well, I'm not saying a whole week. Now, one of the big benefits of doing the Bondo in like the sub-zero temperature, it must have been like 16 degrees outside when I was doing that shit. That Bondo stayed subtle forever, man. It was like you could mess with it and mold it. Like I was outside maybe 15, 20 minutes messing with it. And I put it in my garage, which must have been like 32 degrees in there, you know what I'm saying? And I went there like 9 o'clock at night, and it was still like a little bit soft. I was like, what the fuck? And I like, went out there right before I went to bed at 11. It was starting to get hard. And I was like, yeah, finally. You know what I mean? Fuck. You know what I'm saying? I was worried it wasn't going to, I was like, have I met my limit? You know what I mean? With the frozen Bondo? A day later, I brought it down here because it was, smelling groovy, man. It's smelling groovy. Smelling groovy. Here's the front, man. We had all kinds of weird stuff with like fucking Oak Ridge Bowl was right in the middle there, man. It was like a fucking, embarrassment. Also, at this point, I took the liberty of activating the truss rod. You know what I'm saying? Reason being is every time I'd be holding it, felt like the neck was hollow. I was like, it didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Especially if I was like setting it down and my hand on it, it made like a weird sort of like feeling when it was like something loose in there. Like, fuck that, fuck truss rod. So what you do in that case when you just install the truss rod, you have to activate the truss rod. I'm getting all excited. I'm sorry about that. In this case, because it's a long abandoned guitar, you just treat it automatically, as if it has like a kind of an up bow. You know what I mean? So we just turned it right a few times with the truss rod key. You know what I'm saying? Until it sort of caught on, and then you felt there was like some tension. And you're like, yes. We got it good, and it's sort of like, and it's not doing too much. I mean, I still got to like go around another like 6-7 times, but I'm saying we already sort of set it activated to push on the neck that way, and it's already doing its job, man. I feel good now. Some of you might be like, hey, man, you going through this trouble, why don't you just put like, one of those Gibson ones in there? Gibson ones aren't very practical, man. It's got that weird sort of nut and shit, and it's like, what I'm saying? It's not modern, not easy to adjust. With this little piece in here that we're like putting in there, you know what I'm saying? It's really delicate around this area. And I have to go in there with a fucking dental tool to fix the Gibson one. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more treacherous than just getting like this little, look how tiny this hex key is. You know what I mean? The import guy goes right in there, clicks right in, you're in business. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really have too much contact with this. So that's you know what I mean? I was like, I did that on purpose just because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got trust what cover on, who fucking knows, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to fool anybody. You know what I'm saying? If somebody would buy this thinking it's a Gibson, they'd be a fool. Because if you're going to buy a Gibson Explorer, you got to know what a Gibson Explorer looks like, what the traits are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to fool anybody. I'm just trying to make a tribute out of an old tribute. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fix up the fix-up. I'm trying to give the hib on the chib, man. So what we have to do next is we have to sand this down to grade, man. We got to get the sand down. Sand it. Fireworks of hell over the evening. Force on the light. Old stone out grinding face, old strangles woods night. Downtown the circus. So I sand that down, man. Get it down to grade. I'll see you at that point. Switch blade louder. Switch. Yeah. Yeah. Nice and smooth. I close my eyes and I feel unity. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of ruckus or bumps, man. Freshly shaved on a Friday night. Oh, yeah. So, we got to talk about, doing our veneer, man. Here, veneer, and everywhere, right? This is so smooth, man. Oh my God, it's so professional. So I close my eyes and I just feel glad. So I'm gonna paint this black too, but we have to make our veneer for the back, man. And it's not gonna be as hard as it hard as it looks, man, because this is real jacked up. We got to line up those little, you know, saying owl horns and little beaks and tweaks, man. And I think I'm going to shave off a little piece of this too, because this is a little lopsided. We'll see when we get the veneer going. So this is the front. So the back is this, right? And I have this piece of, I think it's a spruce, actually. It's a nice spruce veneer, old stock, as opposed to the birch that we did in the front there. We're just going to, you know what I'm saying, tape this on, as opposed to tracing it. Because when you trace it, it gets a little too big. But if we just sort of take some tape this on, and peel it off after we're done cutting it out. We don't have to get the whole deal, man. I'm just going to cut this whole thing off. So we don't really need that, because we have a nice sort of here. We'll just sort of sand that out. Because it doesn't, you know what I mean? This sort of tapers in. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same pattern. It's not the same pattern. See how that sort of tapers in? So we're just going to cut that shit off. Make that veneer that way. Glue it on. And we're going to be happy together. I'll show you after the veneer has been cut out. Or sometimes we might say cut earth. But not usually, right? That sounds kind of fucking weird. Alright, so I just peeled off the pattern. Came out beautifully. Came out perfectly. Came out glowingly. So we're just going to line it up. You know what I'm saying? Like sewingly, right? And on this side, the back side, we're going to apply a whole bunch of glue of the wood variety. Then we're going to take this little roller. We're going to roll it out like a motherfucker so shit don't happen again. Then we're going to take some rubber barns. You know, we're going to take a whole different fucking approach, man. I'll see after we've been fucking banded together, man, by the band, man. Make sure it's lined up right. You don't want to fuck it up. Alright, so we have it all rubber banded out, man. 100 million different species of fucking rubber bands, too, man. We took the roller. Once we had it all like sort of attached, we rolled it out again, made sure it was flat, lined up. You know what I'm saying? I's fucking dotted, T's crossed, bitch. So let's let this settle, man. Let's let it sit for a couple hours, man. A couple hours. Cool, who is? See you then. Alright, so it's the next day. Let's take these rubber barns off. Let's shed these bonds that keep us down. See what we've lost. Alright, so that was a much better result than we got the first time around about, man. So let's take our time now. Let's take our nice thick sanding block. Get rid of this little hump. See how that's like sort of, you know, just wrong. That's the one thing I noticed when I first got the guitar. Like, ooh, this is messed up. Just by shaving this off will be pretty much good, man. Right? Trim this down a little bit, sand that down, you know what I'm saying. But let's just do this right now. And I'll come back at you. Right? I've been working on the railroad all the live long day. Alright, so we got it all straightened out. Even. It's an even. Looking good. Looking correct. So let's do Bondo 3, I think it is. We got to fill this guy in. Right? He's still deficit. Alright. Both sides now. This guy. And like on the top too. Hey. Don't touch my top like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sensitive. I'll see you in a segundo outside, Sonny. Alright, so this morning it was real nice outside. And then got a little cloudy. And then it kind of like started raining a little bit. And then it just started kind of snow coming down, man. So I'm at the foot of my garage. Looks like it's going to keep snowing all night long. Anyway, that's the snow this year. We're going to just do it up. You know what I'm saying? Do the Bondo as needed. A lot of ventilation. We'll be straight. Right? See you in a little bit. Alright, so we did it up. I'm saying we made some shape out of the unshapen. Right? Looking better. So let's set it out here for a little while with the window open. Close the window when it's half set. Lots of snow coming down, folks. Safe on the roads, man. See you tomorrow or the next day. Or maybe the day after. Alright, so 24 hours later, we're down in the basement. Nice and hard. This is like side work, and it was like minor side work. So, I mean, it wasn't anything major, and it wasn't on like the front or surface where it's going to sink down. The side is kind of a different animal. So, I don't really, you know what I mean? I need to wait a whole week on this. I've put a piece of masking tape over my hole. Right? Don't want to get infected there, Mary. Yeah. And we're going to just take that sanding block and blast through here. Just clean up the edges a little bit. It looks a little bit solid from my eyes, you know what I'm saying? But it looks like it's going in the right direction. And it looks like we got it made here. You know what I'm saying? We got it made. We got it pressed for meat. And I think there's a little bit of shaving from here too. We got to take off. Right? Let's do it nice for the people. All right, so we're totally down to grade, man. Down to grade with all the different grits. Looks nice, man. We're gonna need a little bit of assistance, right? We're gonna need another Bondo region right here, where this is like nose is a little broken off. We're also gonna want to fix this line up. We'll just smear some Bondo in there to get it all right down there. The business, Charles. But for now, we got a 10 and something a little bit more pressing. It's just kind of like the hard bit of everything. We're going to take a ruler, run it straight down the middle of these, and draw a nice little line. And then we're going to take it over to the drill press, and we're going to drill it out with a 9mm brad point bit. It's supposed to be a 1132. I don't know if you can see it. 1132. I want you to see it. Right? That's 8.73 millimeters. 1132, man. So we're just using 9. So I'll see you in a little bit when we're in progress. 1, 2, 3. There it is, man. So far, so good. One more hole left. See you on the back 9. Looks great. So let's take a gum eraser, as they call it, man. Let's just try to erase that little bullshit line that we have on there, man. Remnants. Let's get rid of it. Alright, so looking nice and clean and smooth, man. Nice and clean and smooth. So next time we hang out, we'll be in the Bondo action. Fixing up this guy's nose back here. Back here. See a little bit of miscellaneous stuff. A couple nicks and knocks, man. See you in one. Alright, one last time in the bitter, bitter, bitter cold. It's about 8 degrees outside. Got the Burger King gloves, got all the little popsicle sticks and everything. Bondo, we're ready to rock and fucking roll. I'll see you when we're all spaced out there, spaceman. Right? 2, 3. Looks good, man. Looks decent, man. A decent moment. Have a little bit of a mess here. Too much a mess up back here by the big old barn. Doing a little bit of bondering. Right? Right. 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 I'll see you tomorrow after we bring this guy into the garage later and let him sit overnight till it hardens out. Not up, but out. Alright, so it's the next day, full, I guess, 26 hours after we bondoed it. Had out in the garage overnight. Brought it back around 8 a.m. to the basement. And it was still slightly tacky. It was so cold last night. But now after a good 12 hours down here in the cellar, it's starting to feel a little bit hard. Pardon the harden. Pardon the harden. So let's get this guy smoothed out. Smooth it down. Just a little bit. All right. I'll see if that burnt. Holy hole, Batman. All right. There it is. It's nice and smooth, man. I'm feeling nothing but silk, man. I close my eyes and I don't know where the veneer ends and the headstock begins. You know what I'm saying? It's like perfectly smooth, even on the top here. There are all kinds of little popsicle sticks making up this shit. And I don't feel any anomalies, man. I feel nothing weird, which is good, man. So we're almost like ready to start painting. But before we do, we're going to want to make patterns of these particular cavities here, right? So we got to, you know what I'm saying, black crayon. We're going to take just a piece of paper and just trace it for future references. We're going to also try to get the inner one, because that's what we're going to put like a piece of, like, you know what I'm saying, metal, you know, aluminum tape in there. Something, man, you know what I mean? Keep it totally shielded, man. So I'll see after those patterns have been created. And I got tracings of the inner and outer labia, Your Honor. Pretty sure it was Tony's Gumar. Look at that. Looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty good. So, keeping this also as a pattern, just in case, man. WTF, man. Whatever the fuck. Hey, man. That's what the fuck. Not whatever, bro. Maybe. Right? Maybe nerd. So, what we have to do is we gotta tape this guy up. We gotta get him all masked out. Why? Because we're gonna actually start by putting filler primer on the front here and a little bit on the back there, primarily on the front here, but we want to tape everything else up that we don't want any filler primer on. Especially good job on the fret, you know, board here, because we're going to come back to that much later in the game, Noriega. You have some time to recuperate in your little box down there. W, get him a milk bowl. You know what I mean by milk bowl. A dog treat, right, Daddy? That's exactly right, son. Treat them like who let the dogs out. We're going to mask this up. I already put some tape on the back. Right? Trying to get all taped out, man, so we don't ruin our holes in, man. You don't want to ruin your holes or your veneer. Right? So I'll see you when we're all taped up and we're outside and we're about to print it. Don't print it at me, man. Print it the paint. Alright, so the temperature is dipping above freezing today. We're going to get this guy good on the front. On the back there where we did the little thing, maybe on the side. We're pretty well sort of masked out, man. We got this a device called a guitar stand tall for lute gear. See you in a moment after we've been trimmed. And there it is, man. 2 coats on the front, 1 thick coat on the back. We let it sit out here for a little while. Just a little bit of a while, right? And then we'll put it in the garage for a spell. We'll bring it downstairs and we're going to wet sand it. Right? We're going to wet sand it. We're going to get it on the block with very fine grit sandpaper up to like 400 or 500 to start. And then we're going to hit it up with maybe a 800, 1200, 1300, something like that. Nice and smooth for the people. I'll see you at that print. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's above freezing out here, just leave it out for a little while. Just let it bake out in the sun. Yes, nice and smooth now, people. We did all of our little mess. You know what I'm saying? You can see it's like real smooth. So we're going to let it dry a couple more minutes, and then we're going to masking tape the sides of it, and I'll see you back outside. Back outside, my friends. How absurd. However absurd. Look at that rock and roll, people. Got it all taped up, man. Some people might say tap it. I gotta tap it up, man. A lot of people don't say it that way because it's just foolish. So what we're here to do, 41 degrees outside, we're still okay. In the clear. Right. Liquor before beer. Right. Black lacquer. 2 coats. Let's do it up. I'll see you in the post op. Son. Yes, it looks pretty swell. Swell it does. So let's try to leave it out here a little bit while longer and get it all dried out, Charles. And we're going to try to get this tape off as soon as possible. Let it sit out in the garage for a spell. A couple little while out here, it's starting to get cold out. You know what I'm saying, folks? That's not a good thing. Not a good thing, towel. Alright, so we're in the garage sometime later. We got that tape off the sides. Let's get that light back on here. Looking alright, you know what I'm saying? Looking correct. So we're just going to let it sit out here for, 3-4 days so it dries. Maybe bring it inside tomorrow morning if it don't stink too bad. Or if it, I don't want it to get too cold out here. Monitor the situation. I'll see you in about 2 days. 1, 2. Alright, so we have it back down here in the basement. It's been about a day and a half, 2 days. It's not smelling that bad anymore, but lacquer, you want to be slacker. A little lacquer on there, so I want to let it sit a couple days. But let's take off this tape here that's directly on the wood. I'd hate to have this, masking tape get stuck on the wood and start causing some kind of ruckus, right? So let's strip off all this tape. And this bag, we take that off too, man. Just leave the masking for the actual fretboard. I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so it's been a week since we painted it. We took off the tape, right? We just let it set. So let's flip it around, man. I want to show you what it looks like. I want you to get excited now. Look at that, man. I don't even have to, do any kind of wet sanding on it or cleaning it up. I mean, that's just absolutely fucking beautiful, gorgeous, perfect. So, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to really stain paint it with acrylic with Golden Sunset, which is what I believe I used on the last one. But there's some sort of problems here, right? Here there's like a big bald spot, right? Sort of like you're going to be able to see some of that stain from olden times, like right here. Over here where we did the hole from that screw, man. These I'm not really too worried about. This is just like back staining, Just little areas that we want to sort of mask, because it's going to be a real sort of light coat of acrylic over everything. We want the stain to be even. But up here we're going to just do a heavy coat of acrylic, and I've already have this sanded smooth so there's no panty line. We're going to take this paint off, and give it a little sanding real quick. Sand this part, because there's a little crack here where I think some water came out when we were wet sanding it earlier on the back side with the filler primer. And then somehow like water got through that. Let's see it. Go travel through the little wood canal of the veneer. So let's take this tape off, sand it down, and let's use these acrylic paints to just sort of, mask away a lot of this shit, so we can give it a, nice quick, top coat whitewashing of Golden Sunset acrylic. It'll look great, trust me. I'll see you that print. Luckily, these are all still 58 cents at most Walmarts, man. Isn't that a deal and a steal? I got like 10 bottles of it, and it was like $3.58 and shit like that. Blah. All right, look at that. You know what I'm saying? You can barely. I haven't got time for the pain. Look at that, man. I haven't got time for the pain anymore. No. Haven't got time I haven't got time. I'm telling you, man. Looking good, like it should. Did you see the back of the neck? I don't think you saw that. I haven't got time for the pain. I said I haven't got time for the pain. Now I'm shining the light on it too, so it's a little bit more. But if you're back here, man, you take the light off, man. Hey, man. You got a smoke, man? No, man, it's my Explorer, man. I don't want you coming too close to it, man. You know what I'm saying? So I put the light back on because you know what I'm saying? I don't like to keep using the dark, you know what I'm saying? So what's the next step in the game? Well, the next step in the game is one of the most crucial, important ones. I've got 2 bottlers here, Golden Sunset. It's the same exact color paint that I used back in episode number 2 or 3, whatever it was, the first Explorer we did together 6 years ago, right? Pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic Tausches. Got a burl here, also known as a bowl. We're just going to squirt that in there. Right? And we're going to take some water, just spray it with water. It's a little flat bit of water. We got this big brush. Last time I think I used like a piece of cloth, you know what I mean, to apply. And I might switch over to cloth if that's ugly. Got a little stack here of old Burger King napkins, man. Hey, Bob G, man, why do you use Burger King napkins, man? Why don't you use like Taco Bell or McDonald's or something like that? Well, maybe it's that Burger King is more generous than napkins. That seems to be all I have. Is a whole millions of Burger King napkins, man. I had a whole bag of them. Maybe it's just I use less napkins when I eat Burger King. I mean, I love Burger King. Couldn't be. I just inhale that shit. Or maybe they're just more generous than the other chains, man. McDonald's is like fucking Mach Schnell, 1 napkin per person. Right? They got it all fucking counted out. Taco Bell's like virgin bankruptcy, you know what I'm saying? We bring back all of our old food. Actual like old food that's been frozen for 75 years. It's from the 1940s, the Enchiranto, right? It's still like $7.35. So let's do that, man. I come back to you. You know what I mean? When we're all yeller. I knew you were yeller all along. I want you to enjoy your golden years. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. My heart is true. You're bound. Oh, so we're all yellowed out. We got it looking nice and yeller on the back. Right, and then we let it set. About 2 hours. And we sort of like handled it gingerly and did the front. Eventually just put it up on this hook on the poke board here. You know what I'm saying? Right through the fucking hole in the headstock, man. Holy headstock, man. Front's still a little bit wet from just touching it up. So we're going to let this set overnight. Take a look at it, touch it up a little bit more, right? And then go on with our programming. Program with an E, right? So see you tomorrow morning, right? All right, folks. It's the next morning. We're down here, giving it a couple touch-ups with this little brush. Less diluted paint, you know what I mean? Sometimes we're just putting it straight on there. We're going to keep doing this, touching it up for the next, hour or so. Let it dry completely. And then we're going to prepare it for its final sealing. Right? I'll see you at that print, my perny friends. All right, so now it's time to start finalizing the diatribe, man. We got it pretty much where we want it. You know what I mean? Coloredly. Now, there's some things we need to do before we start lacquering it. First thing I just did, or I could say that I just done, was I took some alcohol and I ran along the ledge here to get, little tiny bits of paint off there, and it came a little fuzzy looking. Well, that's not a big deal. I'm going to take some Zippo fluid. I'm going to take a microcloth of that type and just sort of wipe it down a little bit, right? Then what I'm going to do, friends, is I'm going to go on to this purchase and piddle. A piece of steel wool, for the finest steel wool that there is, William. Quadruple 0. 0, 0, 0. Right? A strong reserve of that, right? Get this guy. And then we're going to use microcloth of this variety to get all the wool off, William. William, get the wool off. Get your wool off, William. I'll see you when that's all being all whittled down, son. Alright, so we sanded it all down, man. It's looking good. It's feeling good, really. How beautiful this wood grain from the veneers popping through that. If we take off the light, I want you to see it. See that? Look at that popping, that grain. Looks like a natural woman. Woman! Right? Oh. So we got to do a couple other things, William. What? Well, let's peel this tape off here. Because we want to, when we lacquer, we want to get this rosewood in as well. And we're going to retape the front rosewood very carefully, right? We also want to tape this guy back here. I want to tape my back door shut. I just don't want all kinds of lacquer getting in there. There's no reason for it, Warren. There's no reason for your intrusion, Warren. I told you were out of the family, Warren. Now get out of here, Warren. William, when Warren comes back, we got to write a writ of wranglings. Right? Some shit like that. Poor Warren, man. He's just misunderstood, man. He's got the Tourette's. So let's get this thing fucking taped up the correct manner, man, so we can cleanly expose this little line here between the rosewood. I don't know where the rosewood began and the guitar neck begun. We're all taped off in approximate tape land, man. There and everywhere. We got the sides, you know what I mean, loose, man. Hang on loosely, don't let it go. So we're pretty much all tapped to the tape test, man. What are we going to do now? Well, it involves a little bit of gypsum, man. Hey, you know what I mean? For those of you who are like, you know, staunch trademark people, man, who don't even like hobbyists to make genuine, you know what I'm saying, tributes to things that they love, then you can go watch something else right now, because this might be painful for you. I know we have lots of sensitive souls in this world, right? All kinds of pronouns. So, you who have heart and don't give 10 fucks, watch on as we gypsinize ourselves up, man. Right? I'll see you in one. Looks great, man. Let's just give it a little bit of run through with some yellow Sharpie right on top of it, lightly and gingerly. Hold on loosely, don't let it go. Hold on loosely, don't let it go. Right? We're in business, man. We're in natural business, man. Be real careful with this fucking old bad boy. So now, we gotta put the serial number there, the serial number. The funny thing is this old library stamp, which I used back in episode 2 or 3, whenever I did the first one, and I just looked at it, and look, serial number is still exactly the same, man. Same as I haven't even touched this thing since then. So I'm gonna roll this back to 51, the digit right before it, right? Same old stamp pad that my daughter, you know, let me. I'm gonna put it right there on the beak, man. Right? On the beakman time, man. See after we've been beaked out, man. Don't tweet your beak in the middle of the street. It's always easier to do it when you put the tuning peg in there, you know what I'm saying? So we're good. Let's go put this guy up, you know, outside on the peg, and we're gonna spray the front of it first real quick, and then we're gonna do the back, like, you know what I'm saying, like thoroughly. Temperature just popped above freezing, so let's try to do this quickly while that is still the case, right? Front real quick, and then we're gonna do the back, because we're gonna have to do the headstock a number of times. So, you know what I mean, we're gonna do the back out, but we want to flash coat the front, right? 1, 2. On the old fence in the back of the property, hooked up. Let's spray the front real quick. See that? There it is, folks. Just one coat on the front. One coat on the front. We'll let this sort of cool out. We'll flip the guitar around and we'll go out the back. Right out the back door. See you then. Alright, so we flipped it around. Very, very thick coat to the back. Extremely thick coat to the back of this instrument. It's only like 34.5 degrees out here, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a bold decision to do that kind of lacquer and such dire cold, man. But I'm saying the front, 22 minutes and a half, pretty much dry, nice and solid. So let's hope for the same, and then I'll do this guy again, maybe 2-3 times, right? And then flip it around again, maybe do 1 or 2 on the front. See you in a bit. Alright, so we got a nice 4 thick coats on there, man. One every like 45 minutes or so. Let's see, it's kind of shiny now. It's kind of shiny now, boss. Let's try to flip it around and give the front a dousing or 2. Right? And then we'll bring it inside, because it looks like the end of the day is nigh. End of the day is nigh, friends. Old 3851. Bada bing, bada bang. Bada bungo, man. Right? So we got two more real thick coats on here, right? They're real thick. And I put like 3 or 4 on here. So it's, pretty much well past sunset. But I looked at the weather prognostics. Looks like it's going to stay 34, 35, up to 36 degrees for the next 4 or 5 hours. Then like 6 hours from now, it's supposed to like possibly start to drizzle a little bit. And then go down again. So we'll leave this out for another 3, 4 hours. We don't have to paint it anymore tonight. Just let it season, man. Let it simmer. Right? Just let it enjoy the outdoors. The crisp winter with its hazy shades all around us. Right? After that's done, we're just going to put this guy in the basement. Tonight we'll just dump it in the basement because it'll be nice and sort of hardened by then. Right? He's a hardened man, being so hardened. Okay? So I'll see you down in the basement. 3 or 4 days, 5 days, a week, whatever it takes. Right? Can you handle it? Can you handle it? So here we are. Back down in the basement. It's been a couple days. Still smells ungodly like lacquer because we gave it a real thick coat. But it's not so tacky anymore. I mean, it used to be like you touch it and you could definitely leave an imprint on it. Now it's nice and kind of, got like a hardened shell, at least on the body. So that means we have a little bit of playroom. We can bring it back outside and start coating the fuck out of this headstock, right? Just spray it down a couple times, right? Be careful where you set it because it still might leave a mark, you know what I'm saying, on this beautiful body, right? I'll see you outside once we've given some lacquer there, son, right? All right. So it's looking real glassy. It's looking real glassy. I think what we're going to want to do is let this dry to the touch and do a wet sanding on it. Now, I don't think we've done any wet sanding on this fucking thing at all. It's looking almost too good to be true. There's a little hairline crack. Actually, it happened when I transferred it over right there at the bottom of the end. You see that? And it's sort of like expanding now a little bit. The more lacquer I put on it, it's kind of got me a little bit concerned, but not too concerned. It's like a hairline crack when I did the transfer. Now it's like all fucked up. So I'll see you after we've given this a little bit of wet sand, after it's dried out. Right? 1, 2. So I waited a good 48 hours, 2 days, for it to dry real hard. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of lacquer on here. I just wet sanded it, and we have a ways to go, really, until it's like the way we want it. Because I can still feel this is like protruding from the headstock, like incredibly. We want it to be pretty much level. A little protrusion's okay, but I mean, like now it's like, like we've gained really nothing, man. So we're not going to wet sand anymore because we're pretty much down to the actual, inlay piece. Let's go back outside and spray it up a little bit right now. I'll see you out there after a couple coats. Alright, so we put another 3 coats on it. Nice thick coats on it. How do you know when a coat's thick enough? Well, at the end of the second group of 3 overcoats, it should feel a little bit less prevalent. Should be more like buried into the body. You know what I mean? If it's not, you know what I'm saying, then you're putting too little on. If you have shit dripping down the sides, you're putting too much on. So you got to maintain that balance. So we'll let this dry out here in a little while longer. It's very, very cold today. Unlike the other day, it was nice out. That's why I'm freezing out. And then we'll bring it inside and let it dry for another day or two. Take a look, see if we need to repeat the process. Probably 1 more time, 2 more times. Right. So we let it dry 3 days. It's feeling a lot more even, but I still feel a little bump. It's beautiful though. Let's sand it down, right? I'll see you at that moment, that mocking period.
Alright, so we sanded it up 600 and 1,000 on the block. Then by hand, we're pretty much right where we should be. Technically, we don't even need to put any more paint on it, but there's lots of valley. Valley is shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Going around. I want to even out the black a little bit so we can get a super glossy look on this headstock. So I'll see you back outside, anyway. That's the last of the paint we're going to need, right? Looks so beautiful. Flash on. Nice bird there. Let's let it sit outside for a while and bring it downstairs after it seems to be nice and hard. So now it's hardened overnight, boss. It's perfect. We don't have to do anything else to that, so we're just going to leave it. But down here in the body and all these yellow parts, we need to knock this shine back a little bit, bring it to like a matte kind of look, and then polish it. I was debating the need for that even, but then I was like looking at this bag of steel wool, quadruple grade. I was like, it must be done. It must be done, Philistine. So, let's do it up, man. Let's knock down the shine. So we knock back the shine a little bit, just a little bit, enough, you know what I'm saying, to get it like totally smoothed out. When you're getting that steel wool out, it's good to have one of these little crescent, you know what I mean, antenna magnets. Get all the little nooks and crannies, all that steel wool gets in here and there and everywhere. So that's always a godsend to have. We're going to put some polishing compound on it right now. Everywhere. Stay away from here. Stay away from my head, Sonny. Right? I'll see when we'll be polished out, man. This is 13.2% kielbasa grease. Alright, so we got it all polished up, man. It's got the sheen back. Now it's sort of more of a, you know what I mean? It makes the finish actually look older, to me anyway. Looks really great up here too. It's like exceptional. So, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's put this guy back up on the hook for a little while. Let's bring this thing back into the question, man. Dirty old ugly fucking thing. Let's take this little assembly off here and bring this guy outside after we've cleaned it up and give it a nice spray of a black lacquer. You know what I'm saying? Just one coat. Let's just do that in the meantime while we let this guy kind of cool off a little bit, right? Because we've muscled and bustled, and then we'll get back to him. Well, let's take care of this guy. So he's totally hardened by the time we start like working on him, right? Everything in due time, my friends. All right, so we sanded it down, wet sanded it, slightly like scratched up, and it looked like it had been painted with like a brush on black lacquer and then a spray on top of that some other time, because there were a bunch of scratches that had been covered up already, and there were some brush marks too that it looked like they'd been painted over. So let's hit it up, man. It's like it was snowing a little bit over the past evening. It's going to snow a lot more tonight from what I understand. So let's do this now. Do it correctly. There we go, man. A couple thick coats, then we sort of moved it out of the way. You know, say nobody wants to sleep in the fucking the big old wet puddle, man. Saying happy endings for everybody. All right, let's let it, you know what I mean, dry a little bit. We'll bring it inside and we'll rough it up a little bit. All right, so about 2 hours later, it's cold, but it's dry. It's nice, man. You know what I mean? It's a little bit bumpy in places, just because of the way it, you know what I mean, dried over a long period of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of, sandpaper and wet sand it, not touching the edges at all, and just sort of, smooth it out a little bit, and then hit it up with a little bit of, super high grade steel wool, and just get it. I mean, the other body and everything, we let it set for a week before we even touched it. But in this case, we're going to do it right away and then let it set for a week, and then we'll hit it up with some wax and such, right? So let's buff this guy out, all these little orange peel sections. And it's good because we got rid of that circle where we had the switch, and there's a lot of bad scratches that are now gone. A big thick coat of lacquer on there, right? I'll see when we're all ground down to ground town at the ground round, my good friend. And there it is, all dulled out, right? All dulled out. Now, generally, I'd wait for it to, totally cure out. But in this case, I'm going to bring it into the laboratory, and we're going to hit it up with some polishing compound. Just get it all smooth and shiny. I see it, that burnt mess though. Oh, black water, keep on rolling. There it is, man. Looking well and broke in. You know what I'm saying? But not conspicuous at all. Polishing compound. Go up the different grades of polishing cloth. This is the guy on top, man. Just smooth it out, man. Smooth it out. It looks great. No scratches. No marks around here where that big circle was. It was ugly too. So let's let this set for about a week. We got all that compound completely cleaned off of it. It's good to go. Let's turn our attention back to that old batter now, shan't we? We shan't. Yes. So I've had this guy on the hook for 2 days, 3 days. Solid 3 days, actually. 72 semesters. Let's get it back down on the countertop. We'll talk about it together. Yeah. So we're ready, man. We're ready to make that final pledge. Right? It's been about 3 days since I put paint on this. And it's been a good 9 days, 10 days since we painted this. 3 days since we put polishing compound on it, and we sort of cleaned it off again. I got some cleaner wax. Let's see it again. I think I'm just gonna do this whole thing up, except for the headstock. The headstock will let a couple more days, man. Behind here, though. So we're gonna manhandle the fuck out of this guy, right, in the coming days. So we might as well make sure we're like protected from a waxing perspective, man. So I'll see if we're all shoned up. You Schoenberger friend? Let's look at that, man. Look how shiny it is. That represents a new sort of age and beauty, man. Yeah, it's just sort of looking right. Looking spectacular. Right? Very proudy. Very, very proudy and nail. W. You as well. Jeb, well, not so much, but that's what happens sometimes, inbreeding. So, we got to work on these now. Why? Because we got to give this guy a little bit of time. Once you wax lacquer for the first time, he kind of gets a little bit, because especially that cleaner wax got a lot of like solvents in it, so it gets kind of soft. So we're going to let this guy set back on the hook for 2 or 3 more days. We're going to take care of some indoor things. We're going to make these tuners. You know what I mean? I almost, flipped my wig, man, when I saw that they had these for a couple dollars on AliExpress. The right color. You can always get them for like, $2.99 or even 99 cents in the early days. They were like jade color. And then it became like jade beige color. And then it sort of became like jade beige yellow color. And now like you can get them like the right color. It's still not perfect, but I mean they're almost great. We got a set of these. Under $10, They're all in these little bags. You fish it out of the bag and it's one of these jobbers. Looks good, man. Looks good now. Right? We're just going to take this button, which is a beautiful butterbean button, and we're going to cut it off like that. You know what I mean? hurting molar, man, with this old, dentist's fucking sidekick. All right, yank that fucker right off. Break that bitch right off. We're going to take this guy. This is known as super glue. Keep you to your chair there, Jeb, while you're getting your lesson from W. This fits right on the fucking beak of this thing, man. This little wick, man. So you just fill up these guys with the wick, just like we were at fucking Sunoco, man. This is some fan cocaine from deep in the heart of Brazil, right? Of the rainforest. It's actually baking soda, man. We just sprinkle a little dab on the post. I mean, right where we got all that glue, so we're like pooling out. You'll see a little bit of glue pooling out of this fucking bad boy. We just sprinkle it on there like fucking fairy dust. It just hardens up, man. It's an old trick, man. And you just brush the powder off. Go back to the party. Pretend you're all right. Yes, I can take some more. Just give me 10 minutes. I want a little scotch and soda. You just reach in, tell the bartender, give me a water. Lots of ice. I'll see when we're all burnt. All right, so we have a problem. We took the button off, and we're going to glue it in. This hole's too small, man. Slightly too small, man. Let's not go in. The same shape, right? But slightly too small. So I'm thinking maybe these are melt on. Maybe I get this guy real hot, hold it up to like a soldering iron, and I get it real hot. I gotta push this fucker in there, melt it right in there, Let's see. See if that's the case or not. Yeah, that didn't work either, man. We actually ended up damaging the button a little bit. See, we got melted out. Yeah, this thing got real hot. This thing's like half plastic. I think the plastic in there started melting. I hope I didn't damage the gear. But anyway, what I'm saying? I might have to end up ordering another set of something because this is like going to failure. So let's just drill this out. This is a 3/16 brad point. You know what I'm saying? Let's try it. And let's glue it in. You know what I mean? See how that burnt. And a gnarly set if there is one. Oh yeah. Not bad though. Love to clean them off a little bit. This is what it is, man. This is what it is, man. To pull some of these teeth out, man. Some gnarly teeth. Look at these. It's actually like plastic, man. Oh, so thin coating of like fake gold. You know what I mean? Some kind of brass alloy. This powder, man. It's not even real. It's all plastic, man. Feels real, though. Disappointing. Let's clean these up, man. Get them presentable for the people, man. Get them presentable for the people. They're all gummed up. Yes. Now they're nice and pretty. After you take a razor blade, you gotta just, cut away all the fucking guck. You gotta wrap around a pipe cleaner twice. And that shaft there, just pull it down. And it'll automatically clean whatever is left off there, and you just brush the other side off with a little bit of love and tenderness. It's ready to go. We'll put them aside. So what we got to do now? It's been about 2 days since we did that, so we got a lot of time now. The lacquer sort of joined together with the wax. It's really, really beautiful feeling now. We got this tape, man. It's been here a long time. And plus, we just put this fretboard on here, and we didn't really attend to the frets too much. Just made sure they were in there and they weren't going anywhere, and they're pretty much straight and even, right? So let's pull that tape back, man. Like clean up, you know what I mean, what we see. But I'm going to show you what it looks like as soon as we pull it back, man. Because it might be fucked up. You'll like that. That was near impenetrable. It was a wonderful job we did. Nothing really doing, man. There's hardly any leakage at all. Nothing to report home about. So we're going to really clean this guy out. Let's start by just sort of sanding these down with a nice block, getting it a little bit more like it seems like a little bit, you know what I mean? It's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Some edges sort of pumping out like bones, penetrating the skin a little bit. Let's get it feeling real comfortable.
All right, so let's sand the frets down. Then we'll do like a nice fret job on it, right? I'll see you after we got it feeling good. Much better. Much better. It feels like we're real comfortable. And I went really sort of very, very, very conservatively with the radius on this thing. You know what I mean? The world is almost flat. It's just got a slight hit of a radius, man. But it's meant to have like a fat neck feel, man. So let's wipe off this little cream of the crop. And then I'm going to get it all lined up with black Sharpie. I usually don't use it because I'm pretty expert, but this is brand new fret work. I want to do a good job, so that's the next print. But we'll be reunited. It'll feel so good. We got it all blacked out. We're ready for the air raid, the air house. We don't want to be taken by surprise by no Jap boneses. You can't just say Japs anymore, you know what I mean? That's offensive now. Not that I'm saying that, I'm just using it as a reference. Even though before they attacked us, it wasn't even an insult. As soon as they attacked us, it was like, an insult. Because we started insulting them because they attacked us, right? That's how it happened, man. Before it was just like saying, hey, bro. Like, bro is a abbreviation for brother, just like Jap was an abbreviation for Japanese person. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really offensive. They weren't offended by it. As long as you weren't, like, kicking them in the face. Anyone saying it, you know what I mean? It usually wasn't happening. So speaking of our Oriental, if that's appropriate, I don't know if that's appropriate. Asian friends, I love them all. AliExpress is one of my favorite communities there is. And they have a program called Choice. You spend $10. It actually comes out to $12. I don't know. I mean, I put $10 in my card all the time. Not till $12 do I get the free shipping. But even if you don't have $12, it's like $1.99 for shipping. And I needed, like, I needed one more fare to make my night. I needed like $1.99 left. You know what I mean? That's all I had to put on my tab till I had, the free shipping. So I found this for like $2.13. Choice. This is it's got like 3 different grades of sandpaper on it. I'm gonna test it out, man. It might be like a single serve. And then you can't use it ever again, but let's give it a shot, man. See on the other side. Bring on through with the other Sharpie. Bring on through. Ow. Alright, so it's not dirty looking, but we got them all. You know what I'm saying? Even. Steven. Lots of shit on there. This thing, not really that good. Maybe for a final touch. We had to get this guy out, which is basically just a Dollar Tree level with 150 sandpaper glued to the back of it. You know what I mean? The rocking and rolling of the rolling is rock. You know what I'm saying? Let's brush this off and I'll see it. Right. So let's get to work. You know what I'm saying? Let's just shape them up. Or ship them out. You know what I'm saying? Shape it up or ship it out. This guy has like a coarse and it's got like a fine side. Baby, I like your coarse side, but I still love your fine side. So let's get it real nice for the people. Hey, what are you looking at? Capiche? There we go. There we go. So let's wipe it off one more time, and then we're going to take some quadruple zero steel wool, put some mineral oil on it, and just get this guy nice and cleaned up and shined up and finished out, man. Finish it out, man. See that burnt. That was so crazy. Crazy. Right, mineral oil, quadruple zero steel wool. Let it set. So I said an hour. You know what I'm saying? This is some hungry ass fucking rosewood, man. Hungry rosewood. All right. So we let it set like 3 hours. Can you believe that? Just got some things to do. You know what I'm saying? This happens to be Valentine's Day in my planet. You know what I'm saying? I went out to dinner, went to the mall, had a great time, spent some money. But all my girls are happy now. So let's wipe this off. Let it set overnight. Tomorrow morning we'll wipe it off again. That's what
meet up together, right?
Alright, so the next day is dawn. We sort of woke up. We had breakfast. It's almost noon now. Just taking it lazy on a lazy weekend, right? It's so luxuriously dry now. It's like a beautiful dark chocolate rosewood. It's this gorgeous piece of wood there. Lovely in all respects. Luck of the draw on that one. Now that we wiped it off again, you know what I mean? It's totally dry. We're going to put a little bit of mine wax, paste wax on there just to sort of. I was debating really putting butcher's wax on here. I have an old can of butcher's wax, which is like no longer manufactured. And it used to be the best, but I'm kind of liking this thing now. Although I disliked it at first, man. Naturally. Let's coat it up, right? And then we can load it up, right? And then we can string it up, and then we can fucking play it up, and then we can fucking give it up, right? See you after we've been waxed on our whiliker. Right there. That's it, yes. When you're feeling stressed, don't just stand there. Tell me to press. Tell me to press. Is now it's contained and it's like protected and it's part of the ecosystem. The habitat, man. It's correct. So let's flip it around, man. Start thinking about our electronic, you know what I'm saying, connection, man. Take this shit off. All right. Let's just start mapping out how we're going to do this, right? I think the first thing we should do is think about this. We're going to have to do a black one. Right? Hey, come over here. I want to show you how we're going to do this. See you in 1, 2, 3. So here's a piece I made for Les Paul Jr. That's a copy off another copy, which I made. I just took it off the guitar. You barely see it. But I traced it on this piece of masking tape. That's like perfect. So I'm going to cut it out. You can't really see it, but I can see it. I'll put it on here. I'm going to bring it to this guy. Cut it down to this size. We're going to drill the holes out beautifully. We've already held this guy up to our instrument on his buttocks. Memories of Lieutenant Dan and Bubba. Right? Lines up perfectly. So, there's nothing else to do. Drill, baby, drill. Let's do it. I mean, it doesn't look that great, but I mean, it'll do the trick. I already tested it out with the, you know what I'm saying? Your hole really fits my shaft in a groovy way, baby. You know what I'm saying? And we still got SG guard left over. You know what I'm saying? Life is good, man. Life is wonderful. So, we got a couple things to do. Right? We got a couple things to do. Let's start getting the electronics worked out. You know what I'm saying? Here's a little hole for the ground. We already tested it. It works. Everything else has got to come through here. So let's get the electronics pre-set up so we know what we're going to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right back. Give me 1, 2, 3. All right. To get electronic with you, I've had these in the drawer for at least a year. Bought them pretty cheap, like under $5. I think there were 10 of them in here. All right? And they're 500K. Kind of like the long nose. And I'm going to use this, of course. I love these. Love them, love them, love them. This is, you know, going to be in due process. I got these all laid out. This is the wire I'm going to use. So I want to shield this up. I want to shield this wall. So I had made this little tracing. Here it is on the paper foil. Let's take that backing off and put it in there together forever. Jeez, that's a perfect. So what we got to do now, really, is just assemble the damn guitar, right? Just assemble the damn guitar. So let's place the things where they need to be, right? Let's take a look at them pickups. So again, from earlier on, we already have slotted head screw. I mean, screw swapped out. This one looked like I was mid swapping out, and I just, I guess, stopped for whatever reason. I still have the screws though in the bag from the hardware stove. Let's put them in there, right? And let's hook up the switch, right? This whole girl where it need be. You know what I'm saying? How it need be, and just set them in the body there. Rest them in there where they need to be, right? I'll see you at that part one. All right, so we got it all reconnected, going down the hole, man, the hueco, man. Got these guys ready to rock and roll, all screwed up correctly. You can see how this has been sort of, you know what I'm saying, like very makeshiftedly sort of routed out there for bass pickups. This first one's serious about the bass, man. Slapping it. Doesn't look like you got much action though. So let's set these on there. I'll see you in a second. And voila, there's the guitar. You know what I'm saying? We are done. Goodbye. Right? So all the wires are pulled real taut through that hole. Everything's sitting flat. Everything fits together exactly perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it exactly where we want it. You know what I mean? Within 1/10 of a millimeter of, you know what I mean, error. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it perfect. We're going to take one of these M2.5 Phillips ring mount screws. We're going to drive those motherfuckers in. You know, without even a hole, man. Without even a pilot hole, we're just going to use brute force, man. Screwdriver. And we're going to do that times 8. 4 and 4, man. And when they're perfect, then we're going to tackle the pick guard. We're going to try to do it in the same brute force way. No holes, man. No holes barred. Not going to do no drilling nor yagging tonight. So you can just take it easy. Right? I see when we're all screwed up. Hey, man, you're really screwed up, man. Can't believe it. And now, always take notes of what color wires come from what. Right? There's a yellow neck and a blue bridge. The switch. That's it, man. 1, 2, 3. There it is, man. Done. Good job. That's grand. After doing a couple of those with the brute force technique with no drilling, I just got out of the drill, man. You know what I'm saying? I just got it out. The whole idea of the brute force thing was just to, you know what I mean, tack it in place. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're trying to map things out, you know, pre-drill, and it gets fucked up because things are a little bit like, it's a lot faster with the drill. So let's get electronically incubated right now, and incubated as well. All kinds of wires going out here for you. Some of these have to be, you know what I mean, elongated, and some of them have to be delongated, man. Possibly. But there's one wire we haven't really worried about is this one. This is the ground wire, man. I got this old little, I think it's a bass string, actually. It might be an E string, I don't know, but it's got like a little bit of a wheel coming out of there, but there's a whole bunch of, you know what I mean, wire. We're just going to stick him up there, man. We're going to do that grounding out. I'll show you when he goes through the other side, man. Right, I'm going to stick you through. And I'll see you coming out the other side, Sonny. Poke on through to the other side. We poke on through. We're going to sink this guy in there. And then we're going to test connectivity with the multimeter. Right? 3-step process. Don't get lost. I'll let you know if we're all connectivity'd. Alright, so the anchor is sank. The connection has been made to the multimeter, to the ground. We got the other end here. Let's take a look. See that? Right down to 0. So there's a perfect connection to the ground. We're in business, man. Hey, man. Don't disconnect my ground, bro. Let's continue our electronical course, man. All right. Let's get this Wasco all wild up. Right? Nothing too crazy. 2 volumes and a tone. Then you go right out the side. See you at that parent. my friend. Mm-hmm. That seems about correct, folks. Let's go plug it into the amplifier. Do the old tap test. Tap on the pickups. Let's see if it works. Cross your fingers. Works. Both pickups. Tap, 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 tap. No buzz. It's a beautiful moment, man. A beautiful moment in time, man. Everything is copacetic. So it's time to cover those bad boys up. We don't want anything fucked up now that it's all working, right? Got a big sheet of, you know what I mean, black, single ply, double thick. We're going to hot glue gun this guy right here. Then scroll saw it up, right? I'll see you at that point at the rough cuts. That's about good, man. Rough cut enough. So let's sand it down till it's perfect, right? And it fits right onto the crevice there, man, perfectly, right? And then we'll drill out these things. And that's the next point. We'll see to that 1, 2, 3. So the best thing to have, really, when you're doing this type of thing is like a sanding belt staple gun to like a 2x4, a coarse one, and it'll make for quick work of that kind of shit, man. A little file too, if you're like so entertained, man. You know what I'm saying? Then you just run different grits of sandpaper on it. But we got it in there nice and good. Let's peel back this tape and take a look at it, man. Let's take a look at it, man. Let's see. Looking great. Looking great. All right. So let's use the peekaboo method. There's the hole. And put a little dot there. Right. And then drill it out with this countersink bit. It's the same bit that we use for this guy right here. I didn't tell you about it then, but I'm telling you about it now. So you're having knowledge past your years, right? Let's get it all screwed down, right? I'll see if that burnt. Yes. Right? Yes. So, it's been a nice, sweet 7-8 days since we finished doing the pick guard. And probably about 9-10 days since we did the headstock. So now we're going to take some cleaner wax from Brazil. We're going to put a little bit on here. Just a little bit. And a little bit on here. Just a little bit. Right? A little bit on here. Just a little bit. And a little bit on here. That's it. Right? I'll see you at that burnt. Burnt in little. Yes. A little bit of sheening. A little bit of sheening. We're looking great. Great to date. So, let's talk again about this fucking catastrophe over here that we spoke about earlier. This is essentially what they came with. These simple, you know what I'm saying, ring tuners. Now, I think I showed you these before. This is what I purchased. It's one of the first things I purchased for the instrument. These are that have like the graduated Cluson type, man. Cluson type, man. The only difference really physically would be Cluson types have flat top posts. We don't. But, you know what I'm saying? Some details you just can't get for, $103, whatever the fuck we paid. So, you know what I'm saying? It's time, man. It's time. We're going to use these screws, though. They seem to be of a decent nature, upstanding, right? I'll see you on the other side. See, that's why we want this thing waxed first. So we can manhandle a little bit. You like want to manhandle you a bit, don't you there? That's right, Chibi. That's right. All right, not bad at all. Not bad at all considering they were, you know what I'm saying? Like a $15 investment at tops. So we're looking good, man. We're looking excellent, man. So we'll leave this for just a couple moments. We're going to talk about this down here, man. What? He's nude, man. Back when I made the first one, I bought like a 6-pack of these knob switch tops, you know what I'm saying? It's the correct thread. It's ready to rock and roll. I can screw it right on, but it's a little bit bright, man. So I'm going to take a little of this shellac that we made for that Hayes Excelsior instrument back in January, right? And we're going to give it some color, right? A little bit of color. So let's do that. I'll see you in one. A little darkened out, man. Yellowed out, you know what I mean? You see the lily ivory ones behind it, and this one's all yellowed out, man. It's time for you to be a man.
not be so yellow. So let's continue on the cosmetic trip. You see this edge around here, man? It's a little fraught with unevenness, man. Fraught with unevenness. The thing that we like to do in these cases. Go around it. Just go around it, son. Go around it. Give it a nice, headstock, edged in black. That's what we want, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Now I'll show you afterwards. 1, 2, 3. You see that? It's got more of a defined line on it. Looks better, man. Looks better. So this is actually plastic, man. I was thinking of carving a nice one, but I remember using one of these previously. Found something else, and it was excellent. It was an excellent nut. Perfect height and everything. Let's just glue it on. Some crazy glue, man. You know what I'm saying? See after it's been sort of glued on. There we go, man. Just let him see there for a moment. Hey, it wouldn't be a real Gibson without at least one Gibson part. Right? Genuine part. It doesn't actually physically say made in the USA. It says US on it and has a US address. Where was it made? I don't know. I think these are really Cluson, deals. $5 at Sweetwater. I know early on in the series, I railed against Sweetwater, talking about them calling me all the time, and night and day. Hey, what are you doing now? You naked? You thinking about guitars? All kinds of weird calls. I was like, I'll buy it from him. It's only $5, free shipping. And a couple of days later, I started getting calls from those motherfuckers, you know what I mean? But I'm all right, I sort of told him, I started acting crazy with him, And he's like, all right, well, we'll leave you alone. Let's put these on, man. Let's do it. Yes, right in the correct places, man. This is looking spectacular, man. It took me so long to get this done. These are those wonderful AliExpress knobs that I found, they're actually embossed, they're not just painted on it, man. I have one extra. Alright, so we're going to have this turn all the way down here and line that little nose up with 0. He's a real zero man, sitting in his zero line, making all the zero plans for nobody. That's pretty nice there, partner. Looks great. So we're getting toward the end, folks. Beautiful. Looking great. Looking great. So I'm going to grab my old needle nose. This is a careful extraction. I'm doing it live. I don't really like doing this kind of stuff live. I want to get it all out. There we go. Yes, I can see your hole now. You're all shaved down. So let's get this guy on there. It really should be a double ply. You know what I'm saying? But this is just so cheap, man. This is like 99 cents. The true correct one would have been like, I don't know, $8, $9, $10, something like that. Crazy. So we're to polish these guys up a little bit. Cut one down right here in the tuxedo junction, right? Truth is, after we're done showing this thing to you and dancing around and doing our little shits and giggles moments, we're going to probably take this off because Rust-Oleum paint never really dries, folks. Never really dries, man. Right? Let's do that up now. Yes. Yes. So, I still haven't sunk this guy back in there. We're going to use the original, you know what I'm saying, anchors and screws, but we're going to use this bar. We're not going to use these guys here. They're a little bit newer. Still kind of like the look of the old ones, right? So let's sink this guy, sink these guys, and put this guy on here, right? Good enough, right? Let's put these little guys in. All right, they're little homes. Let's bust these pinwheels out and see what we can do. All right, see what we can do. Yeah, something like that, right? Looks good. Now for the piece de resistance.
This actually I got initially for the first one we did like 4 years ago. And the guy was like a private seller on eBay. He had like, he said it was a Mighty Mite with titanium saddles that he built himself. What he said. I don't know, it was like $5, $6, something like that. I was like, all right. And I got it. I was like, this doesn't look like a Mighty Mite. This looks like some bullshit. And I like emailed the guy and he refunded me. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Why would I lie about that? You know what I'm saying? Why would I lie about that? You know what I mean? Why would I do something just as despicable as that? You have the piece yourself. It's on you, brother, karmically. He was all crazy. Oh, maybe he was. Wait. Hey, maybe he was, man. Maybe he was being legitimate, man. He's a legitimate businessman, and I was being the jerk off, man. It's possible, man. It's possible. Right? Rock and roll instrument. Let's put some rock and roll fucking strings on here, man. Back in the 50s, these were known as Darko, man. Darko strings. Now they're known as D'Addario, man. Because Darko, I guess, is a little bit not woke enough, even from like, the 70s point, man. Right? Hey. I'll see you at the beautiful glamour shots. Right? Looking great, man. And there's a fine instrument for you, folks. A fine instrument. Who would have thunk, man? That's really trash to treasure kind of fucking shit, man. I mean, really, this thing was the garbage heap. You know what I'm saying? Had no hope, really. Little hope of any kind of future. You know what I mean? And here's number, you know what I mean? Number 1, or in our case, number 3, episode number 3, episode 199. So, I mean, I always tell you guys, I don't do this for cash. I don't do this for money. I don't do this for profit. I do this just for the love of it. Again, I'm not looking to piss anybody off at Gibson or anybody who loves Gibsons or, you know what I mean, the guy who designed this shit, Ted McCarty's ghost. I don't know who else I gotta, appease to say this is just a project to make myself happy. You know what I'm saying? That being said, I really make myself happy. I want to play it. And I want to play for you. Right? I sing my love in a song. Right? There it is, man. It's like the unexpected guest to dinner that really delivers the goods. Shows up with a fancy bottle of wine. Like 2 hookers or something. Yeah. A whole bag of blow, man. And then he leaves. Rest in peace, Charles. You were my best friend. What? Oh, you mean fiction? There's both pickups right there, man. I mean, you all the way up to the neck. It's all clean and clear, man. This is the neck pickup. Isolated. Going through a Marshall 8100 valve state. 100 watt. Damn. 2 1967 Sun. 4x12 verticals. Let's listen to just the bridge pickup now. See if it's in tune, man. Not bad. Not bad in tune, on tone. We got the tone knob, of course, functions fine. It's all the way open. Beautiful on the neck pickup. So I hope you're having a good new year, man. This is a perfect example of like a good, you know what I mean, 2-month activity you can do by yourself. You know what I'm saying? We've done 199 times together. I'm so proud of you, my friend. Don't you forget about me. Walking around, baby. Tell me your secrets tonight. Running around upon, baby. Don't you forget about me. Hey, don't you forget about me. As you walk on by, as you call my name, as you walk on by, la la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Hey man, 200 millionth episode coming at you, man. 200th episode, and we have a special time travel extravaganza for you, man. If you can't believe that, man, I'm gonna take you back 40 years to good old 1985, Marty. That's our 200th extravaganza coming in March, man. Middle of March, man. Be there, be square.